Every bridge you cross, every skyscraper you enter, and every dam that provides your water exists because of a precise set of rules. In the Philippines, these aren't just the laws of physics, they are the laws of the land, known as the Civil Engineering Law. RA 544 has been the backbone of the profession since June 17, 1950. But what does it actually say? And why does it matter to you, whether you're a student, a professional, or a citizen? Article 1 defines the scope. It's much broader than most people think. Under Section 2, civil engineering isn't just about building. If it involves a fixed structure, chances are, RA 544 says a civil engineer must be the one to lead it. This ensures that the person in charge has the specialized knowledge to prevent disasters. Now, let's look at the brain of the law. Article 2. This section creates the Board of Examiners, the body that holds the keys to your professional life. Under Section 3, the board is composed of a chairman and 2 members. They aren't just appointed by anyone, they are chosen by the Secretary of Public Works and Communications. Their term is strictly 3 years. To keep the board stable, the very first members had staggered terms 1, 2, and 3 years, ensuring the board never loses all its experience at once. Section 5 sets the bar high for who can sit on this board. You can't just be a new engineer. You must be at least 30 years old, a Filipino citizen, and have practiced for at least 10 years. Here's the clean hands rule. A board member cannot be a faculty member or have any financial interest in a school where civil engineering is taught. Even if they used to teach, they must have stopped for at least 3 consecutive years before joining the board. This prevents favoritism toward certain schools. Now, what can they actually do? Under Section 4, the board has quasi-judicial powers. They don't just give exams. They police the profession. They can issue subpoenas. This means if there's a building collapse or a case of malpractice, they can legally force witnesses to testify and companies to hand over blueprints. They have the ultimate power to issue, suspend, or revoke certificates. If an engineer is found incompetent or unethical, the board can effectively end their career. They are also required to inspect engineering schools at least once a year to ensure that the engineers of tomorrow are actually being taught the right standards. Finally, Section 6 mentions fees. Historically, the exam was 40 pesos. While the amounts have changed today, the principle is the same. The board is funded to maintain professional standards. So, the board ensures the players follow the rules. But how do you get on the field in the first place? That leads us to the exam. If Article 2 is the brain, Article 3 is the gauntlet. This is the section that defines how a student transforms into a registered civil engineer. Under Section 8, there are no shortcuts unless you are specifically exempt. Everyone, and we mean everyone, must pass a technical board exam to practice in the Philippines. Section 12 lists the gatekeeping requirements. You must be at least 21 years old, a Filipino citizen of good moral character, and a graduate of a recognized 4 or 5 year civil engineering course. Section 10 breaks down the exam itself. It's a massive technical spread. Expect to be tested on mathematics from trigonometry to integral calculus and applied mechanics. Then comes hydraulics and surveying, including highway and railroad surveying. Finally, the heavy hitters: design and construction of everything from skyscrapers to buildings and dams. Attention, future engineers. As of March 2026, the Professional Regulatory Board has issued Resolution No. 01, changing how you'll face the boards. The exams are now set for March 26th and 27th, 2026, across 19 testing centers nationwide. But the biggest change isn't where it's how you take it. The board noticed examinees needed more time for heavy computations, so they've rearranged the subjects to give you a more balanced preparation. Day 1 is now dedicated entirely to principles of structural analysis and design, to give you a fair shot at those 75 computational questions. The time has been increased to a massive 6-hour block, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Day 2 now carries the remaining load. The morning session covers applied mathematics, surveying, transportation, and construction management. You'll wrap up the gauntlet in the afternoon with hydraulics and principles of geotechnical engineering. Passing isn't the final step. Section 13 requires every successful candidate to take a professional oath before the board or a government official. This is your formal entry into the profession. Then comes the seal. Section 14 mandates that every engineer obtains a seal with their serial number, stamping a document with an expired or revoked seal. That is strictly illegal. Section 16 adds a moral layer. The board can refuse to issue a certificate to anyone convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude or anyone of unsound mind. Lose your license. Section 18 says you can apply for a new one after a year, but it's entirely up to the board's discretion and they might make you take the exam all over again. Article 3 ensures that when a civil engineer signs a plan, they have the brainpower and the legal standing to back it up. We've talked about the board and the exams, but what happens if someone breaks the rules? Article 4 covers the enforcement and the heavy price of non-compliance. Under Section 20, it's not just the board's job to watch you. All law officers from the national level down to your local municipality are duty-bound to enforce this act and prosecute violators. Section 21 is the ultimate command. Unless you are specifically exempt, it is strictly prohibited to practice or even offer to practice civil engineering without a valid certificate of registration. Section 22 lists the specific crimes. This includes using someone else's license, giving false evidence to the board, impersonating a registrant, or using a revoked or suspended seal. The penalties are no joke. A violation is considered a misdemeanor. If convicted, you face a fine of not less than Philippine peso 500, nor more than Philippine peso 2,000. But it's not just about the money. You can also face imprisonment for 6 months to 1 year roar, both at the discretion of the court. Even assuming or advertising yourself as a civil engineer in your name or title without a license is a direct violation of this law. Article 4 exists because, in our profession, a mistake isn't just a typo, it's a threat to public safety. The law ensures that only those who have proven their competence are allowed to lead. We've reached the final chapter. Article 5. This section handles the miscellaneous rules that govern firms, corporations, and the legacy of the craft. You cannot use a person's name in a firm's title unless that person is a licensed professional. No misleading the public. Section 25 covers reciprocity. Foreign engineers can only take our board exam if their home country grants Filipino engineers the exact same rights and equality. Article 5 ensures that, whether it's a giant corporation or a solo practitioner, the standards of safety and education under RA 544 are never compromised. From the boardroom to the construction site, the law is the foundation. If this breakdown of RA 544 helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into Philippine engineering laws and 2026 exam tips. This is Engineer Sam. Study hard, build safe, and we'll see you in the next one.